the sneakiness and the manipulation that goes on in all different occupations. It doesn't matter what occupation. What's important is that we start living authentically, that we start being in our power, speaking our truth, and really expressing what we need to say. I have observed too many healers and light workers that are beautiful souls, but they are so complacent and they are so submissive, and they let things happen, and they think it's because of compassion. I actually had a client today that I worked with, and he was expressing that to me. He's like, Tanya, I just feel like I've been trying to be compassionate, but I'm really pissed. Like, he was really angry about a situation. And so because he's on a spiritual path, and because we've been taught so many belief systems that are not of integrity or of alignment, there's this belief system he's been taught that says, if you're a spiritual being and you're on a spiritual path, then you have to practice constant compassion, meaning the way people identify compassion is often something feels wrong and I'm being violated or I'm not being shown respect, but I just need to be submissive about it. I just need to be patient and compassionate about it. And then eventually it'll go away. And this is so far from the truth. And I feel to be a true warrior of light is the opposite of that. It is when something comes into your movie, your life situation, and it feels off, you address it immediately. You speak truth on it. You shine the light on it. You send love and forgiveness, and then you release it. If you feel anger, we need to get over this belief system that it is bad to feel anger. I can't tell you how many clients I work with that when we start tuning in deeper to their stuff where they're struggling, especially with women tend to have this belief system that they are crazy or they have lost control if they express anger. Where men I see struggling in the opposite spectrum, where if they cry or if they show emotion and sadness, they're big wusses and they're losers and, they need to man up. And so what we really, I feel, have such an opportunity to heal here is seeing that men and women, if we're in our wholeness, if I am in wholeness, I have masculine, feminine energy in balance. I am in balance. So if an energy comes in, I am empathic, I am intuitive, I am practicing being receptive, I'm in alignment with my feminine energy. Now, when something comes in that's challenging my safety or it's disruptive and it's out of alignment, my warrior side must show up if I'm going to be in alignment and health. So that masculine energy takes action, is assertive, speaks truth, and is in power. The two energies together are going to bring us balance. If I was a man and I feel like I'm allowed to be angry and I can yell and I can express my anger, but it's shameful for me to cry, for me to actually express that I feel afraid or that I feel sadness for something, I feel betrayed, then this person is going to struggle and it's going to amplify one energy and the other energy will be very weak and out of alignment. And this is where you get people with anger management problems. They need to go to anger management. What it really is they need to balance the masculine and the feminine. When you have a woman who every day we are challenged with living in our authenticity, and today I guarantee you there are housewives across the nation that are being challenged and enslaved and that are feeling like nothing and they're feeling afraid and they're trying to be compassionate to the men that enslave them. Right at this time, there are men who are working in corporations and businesses where they feel enslaved, where they feel that if they do what feels right, they could lose their jobs and that would affect the well-being of their families. And because they can't express their fear, express their true feelings to those leaders who are out of alignment, they suppress. And what happens is they go home and they externally express and project that anger on the ones around them because they are not in their true, authentic alignment. And so if we aren't going to be willing to see this about ourselves, the shadow side, we're going to continue to create destruction and we're going to continue to enslave others and also enslave ourselves. So when I look at what's going on with this whole energetic, asteroid field of energy that I've been watching and how many souls have been struggling, how many people's relationships have been challenged lately, I feel it's such a gift. It is such a blessing for every one of us Because when we can have the courage to actually look at the shadow side, when we can have the courage to see the vulnerability, to see and look into our belief systems that are no longer serving us, we can start to dissolve them. We can start to release them. And we can start to move into our wholeness and move into our alignment. And big picture, that is what we're going through. As an entire planet of humans, we are going through this shift, a self-love shift, to return back to that wholeness and that place of balance. And it's important. It is the most important thing in each of your day. And if you don't believe me, look at how you suffer when you do not speak your truth. Look at how you suffer when you feel anger and you suppress it. And then that anger blows up at random times, random people, and and then you feel shame, you feel guilt and you feel shame. And so you try to shove it back again, and then it builds like a volcano. The client I worked with today, I was kind of expressing to him, when we do this, that volcano energy does build. We cannot stop. Energy has to go somewhere. Energy came from nowhere, and it can be returned back to nowhere. Every energy comes to us to teach us something. So if something comes in and it's bringing us fear or anxiety or sadness, don't attach to it. What we need to do is say, what is this energy here? Like, I feel angry. What is that about? Let me get to know what's going on inside of Tanya. What is this anger in me? Let me observe and feel where this comes from. It's just an energy. It's here to help me with something. It's here to help me step into my power. A lot of times anger comes because we are not speaking our truth. If we're feeling really angry, most likely there is some aspect of your life that is out of integrity and you are not in alignment with that integrity. So if anger comes in and we cannot think it's bad and try to shame it, we can tune into that energy and we can let it out in a healthy way. We can say, what is this anger? What is this feeling? Okay, I feel violated. I feel betrayed. I feel disrespected. So the energy is coming up. Now we find a healthy way to express that energy and to learn and let it out, and then it leaves us. We can clear it. If we don't do this, then we hold and harbor energies and we become sick. We will create sickness and physical disease from the dis-ease of our suppression. So I want you guys to explore that energetic process and really realize that everything is the same recipe. If sadness comes in, explore it. Don't try to suppress it. If a man his mother just died and he feels shameful to cry, so he's like, ooh, I feel like I'm going to cry, but I can't. So I'm going to get angry because I'm allowed to do that. He's suppressing these emotions, and they're going to find a way to come up eventually. And the most important part of that process is the clearing of it. If we don't let it out, this is when it starts to create heart disease and problems in the body. So if we can tune into that sadness and not feel shameful and just see it as an energy, I'm feeling an energy of sadness, not I am sad, I am depressed. I don't need to attach myself to the energy. I don't need to create a story. And we as humans need to watch that, because a lot of us, we get sick or we have things happen and we attach ourselves to it as a story. And now we have to have chronic eating disorder. Now I have to have bipolarness. We get these labels and titles, and it's not serving us. It's really actually sending us in the opposite direction of the alignment we're seeking. So if we're really addressing the emotion as it comes up and we feel that sadness, we learn from that sadness, and then we find a healthy way to express that sadness, we release it. And now the energy shifts and it moves out. It does not have to stay. And now we're like, okay, let's go back to our happy place. Yeah. In my family, they have witnessed the warrior in Tanya, and being an angelic healer does not mean at all that I cannot feel emotion. I feel what I mirror to my clients and my family is balance. They see that if Tanya is feeling healthy and happy and in good energy, that's where I'm typically at. Most of the time, that's where I'm at. But if something comes in and it's projecting enslavement and control, and it's upsetting and I feel anger about it, they watch me express that anger, address it, speak truth about it, and then I release it and I let it go. and I don't have to hold on to it. I'm not one that holds on to anger and vengeance or jealousy or any of that. There's no need for all those shaming, guilty, nasty energies when we actually address it and then release it. Now, this releasing part is important that we address our life situation as well. So let's say I was in a relationship and someone betrayed me. And, we worked through it and I was sad. And then I let the anger come out. I dealt with that. And then I said, okay, here's the deal. You can't do that to me again because I love myself too much. And so if you betray me again, you're telling me you don't want to be in my life. And that is how it's going to be. You need to honor that boundary. And so let's say a few months later, that person betrays that person again. They come in, they do the betrayal. They don't really show much reverence for it. Now, a lot of times in the spiritual communities, what I hear is just keep being compassionate. Just keep being patient. They'll figure it out. No, not at the cost of your own well-being, not at the cost of your own sacred space. My children have been addressed when they're out of alignment, which has happened a few times. My teenager, he has been told very clearly, you step over that boundary again and you show disrespect in this home and you interrupt my sacred space and don't show honor, you are asking to move out. So you living here, I love you and I would love you to live here. But if you cannot show honor and you keep disrespecting, then you are showing me that you need to go somewhere else because that is not what we do here. This is self-love. And we need to learn to do this. I feel like a lot of mothers struggle to be in that power and they get pushed all around by their children. And then because we're in that fear of being in our power, we enable and create monsters because of it. We give them their way. We let them get away with stuff. We keep catering to their misalignment. And then one day it gets more and more intense. And then we're angry, like, how did that happen? It happened from a very slow and steady process of misalignment and catering to it. So if we want to actually be joyous creatures, and I feel I am a very joyous person. My soul is high vibration. I'm a joyous woman. I love life to the fullest. However, I feel every single right in my being to express my truth. So if something comes in and I feel anger, you're going to be sure Tanya's going to let you know that. And then I'm going to address it. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to see how it even affects. Like I often don't see something happening to me as just about me. Because I'm in a place of speaking to the public in such a transparent way, often if a betrayal or some energy of control comes in, like this enslaving energy that came, I go publicly and talk about it to bring bring basically the awareness to that energy so that every soul in their own way that's going through it will see, whoa, look how she's handling that. She's actually speaking truth. She's in her power. She's not afraid. And look at, she's rising. How is she doing that? The reason I share that so truthfully is because that is what a leader of light does. We live authentically, we live transparently, we live powerfully, and we live truthfully. If you don't do that and you're trying to be a good spiritual person, and it means that you're not being honest and that you can't express your emotions, you're going to self-destruct. It's going to be a matter of time before the shit hits the fan and your life is going to be very out of balance. You may start to feel sickness in your body. Your relationships will start breaking down. And it's because we are not here to do that anymore. All this energy happening, all the shadow energy coming into our face is so that we'll look at it, we'll learn from it, and then we can clear it and release it. So my hope in this discussion today is to help each of you tune into that part of yourself. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop blaming your wife. Stop blaming your husband. Stop blaming your children. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your government. Start looking in the mirror and start looking at where you need to live more authentically, where you need to be in your empowerment. There's, I don't know if Amnon has a way to play a song on this show or not, but if not, there's a song by Hoobastank called The First of Me. And I love the song. The song struck my soul to the core when I heard it for the first time. And it was at a time in my life where I really had to let some things go before I left my business and left my marriage. And it's all about being the first of me, not being the next of them. It's about living in your truth, living with power, living with freedom, and not being afraid, not being enslaved, not selling your soul for someone to turn you in a direction that they say you should go in. And this is so important for every one of us listening today. I don't care if you're 5 years old